Hello, Nomads, and welcome to episode 36. My name is Brandon. I am your host, and this is the Nomads of Fantasy podcast. And I'm also here with Eric.
Cake and grief counseling will be available at the conclusion of the test.
Oh, nice. And Dave.
Speedy thing goes in, speedy thing comes out.
Nice. That was some quotes coming from the game Portal, which is great because we have a guest. And who did we bring with us but GladOs herself from the game Portal. GladOs, would you mind saying hello to our listeners?
Hello.
And GladOs promised that she would behave during this episode, but, help us out whenever we had questions about the game. But anyways, before we get into the game, we always like to do a catch-up. So let's just start with you, Dave. What have you been doing? And then we'll go to Eric, me, and then, I don't know, checking with GladOs.
Nothing too much, just cleaning up some stuff. I finished Oliha.
Nice.
That came out on Game Pass. It was only like 6-ish hours. Not a ton of story, so the ending of it wasn't terribly impactful. It was kind of like it was done, and that was it. So it was a nice little short bite-sized game. I did get a little hammered this weekend, so I don't know if it is something about me, but when you're hungover, I can't play anything too fast-paced. So I went with turn-based strategy and dove back into Wasteland 3. Started cleaning that one up. It came out a while ago, 2014, but still haven't finished that. It's been getting piecemealed over these years. But it's your standard like XCOM combat, top-down shooter, turn-based. Run behind stuff.
Reminiscent of the OG Fallouts, right?
Yes, very much so. But that's a nice little one to keep working on. I might put a little something into it and try and kill it in these winter months because it's a winter-based game in Colorado. So, it's always fun to play like snowboarding games or winter something while you're in that season. I played a little bit of Sable, which was part of the
I have that downloaded too.
Well, part of the reason why I went over to Wasteland, because I don't know if it was me, I was having some frame rate issues, but it's got a super cool art style to it. Didn't seem terribly, it's kind of like a Zelda-y, where I didn't get too far into it, just a little bit, but the frame rate was hitching. I don't think I was playing it on the cloud. I had that downloaded. So
I played a little of that game too, and yeah, the frame rate, especially in the beginning part, until it opens up to the the open world part of the game. It's kind of choppy. It's a little clunky, but if you get to the open world part, I think that'll make or break if you want to keep playing or not. But that's like the main mechanic once you get your own little ship.
Yeah.
Did you get that far?
No, I was gonna barf all over the place. So, the art style though is what kind of draws you in. It's got that cool cell shaded kind of look to it. But we'll see. It seemed like it was a pretty chill game where you're just kind of going out and exploring some deserts and shit like that. So looked kind of Tatooine-y. And then last, I started watching that show you guys have been talking about, Mr. Invincible.
Yes,
Mr.
Inbetween.
Yep.
Thank you. I keep on saying Mr. Invincible or Mr. Invisible or whatever, but got like 2 or 3 episodes into that, but didn't get too far. But that seems to be a pretty cool show. I watched it on Hulu. Mm-hmm. Hulu makes it tough because there's just so many commercials.
Dude, it's so annoying. I hate watching shit on Hulu.
It is pretty brutal. I might look for a better way to watch that because I have FX and there was only like clips of each show, but not like the full episode. So I don't know. Maybe it was me or I need to check that out again. But Mr. Inbetween is pretty cool. It's an Australian show, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
And got to definitely watch it with subtitles.
You need the subtitles for sure. For sure.
Oh yeah.
You barely understand what's going on sometimes. But what the guy's just kind of like a hitman, but he's also got like his own family problems.
He's a fixer.
So it's like, cleaner. Kind of comes in, fixer.
Well, people always are going to him with favors. There's the whole series, the 3 seasons. People are always like, I need a favor out of you. And he's just like, all right, what is it? He's very good to his friends. Like if you're close to him, he just wants respect. But he's like a hitman, right? He's like a
he He's a problem solver.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, like what title is that?
That's a good way of putting it. But he seems pretty likable. You see him with his family, and he seems like he's got his head screwed on fairly straight, except for he's getting into all sorts of illegal activities. So hilarity ensues there.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, that's all I had this week.
Cool. Well, I've been up to a couple things. I finished the Pedestrian, which I was talking about a little bit last week. That game was great. The ending of that game gets pretty wild. So if you didn't finish it yet, I'd highly recommend finishing it because
How long was it?
it's like 3 hours, maybe 3-4.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
not
pretty
bad.
short. It's worth seeing it through to the end. Like the puzzles, like we'll talk about this with Portal, but the way it builds on the puzzle mechanics through each different level is just really, really smart. And by the end, I don't want to spoil it, but if you want to see it, I would highly recommend going to finish it.
Are you telling us there's a story and it has a good ending for this Pedestrian game?
It's interesting. I will say that.
The line man run.
Okay.
It's very,
Okay.
very interesting and not what I was expecting at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that sells it enough to me to...
It goes places.
I've
Like,
probably played an hour and a half of it. So
I would say it's worth seeing the end. Some of the puzzles, I wouldn't say they get kind of difficult towards the end. Like they're only frustrating because it makes you feel dumb. But once you figure it out, you're like, oh shit, how did I not, figure that out before? That's the kind of puzzle game that I like because I'm just like staring at this one screen for like, a couple minutes. I'm like, how do I do this? And then as soon as it clicks, it's
Right.
like, it feels so good when you put all the pieces together. So
okay.
that's a really good one.
Nice.
I had no expectations for that game, so it just kind of came out of nowhere for me. So I was pleasantly surprised with that. A couple other things I played through on Apple Arcade, Lego Builder's Journey. I don't know if you guys have seen this game, but it's like a little like isometric like Lego game, and it tells a little story like through these simplistic Lego dioramas, and you're like basically moving this little Lego guy from endpoint to endpoint by placing a couple like different Lego pieces. It's pretty cool.
I
played.
not think I've seen that.
Yeah, I played it on Apple Arcade. I know it's on a couple. I think it's on mostly everything. It's on Switch. It might be on like Xbox. But that's also another little short one. Probably like 2 hours maybe. But that's worth a little playthrough. And it's got a nice little emotional story. It's kind of like this father and son type story. So that got to me a little bit. What else? I dabbled in some VR. So I don't know. I feel like over the weekend I was in a bit of like a gaming slump. Like nothing that I thought about playing sounded interesting. Like I have like Resident Evil 8 that I've been wanting to finish, but I just didn't really feel like going back to that right now. And a couple other things just didn't sound interesting. So I booted up the PlayStation VR just because I knew I had a couple things on there. I played this game called Accounting Plus. It's interesting.
Exhilarating.
It was okay. It's by one of the creators of Rick and Morty, so Justin Roiland. And like I'm not that into that type of humor, that Rick and Morty type of humor. But there was some funny moments. I chuckled a little bit, and like some of the stuff they do with the mechanics. You're just going through these different levels. I don't even really know how to explain it. They're like these little story vignettes. But some of the humor is kind of obnoxious.
Are you really accounting?
No, like they kind of frame it as like accounting, like a virtual accounting program type thing. But then you just like travel to these like different little parts. Like one, you're like in a forest, and like another part you're in like a gang initiation, and then like you're in a dungeon. I don't know. It's really freaking weird.
It sounds fun.
But I had fun with it. And there's definitely some secrets to uncover in there, but probably done with it. But the main thing that I want to talk about is a game called The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. This game really got me. So they were giving this away for free on PlayStation Plus like a couple months ago. I think they were celebrating like the anniversary of the PlayStation VR, and they gave away a couple VR games, and this was one of them.
Cool.
So I've been wanting to check this one out for a while because it looks really cool. And like, I don't know, this is probably one of my favorite VR experiences that I've had so far. I mean, the premise is pretty simple. You're in the Walking Dead universe, and you're this survivor. You're trying to uncover this mystery about these different, factions and organizations. And like, it's pretty standard, like Walking Dead story. But
does it have to like tie it into any games at all, or movie or show or anything? It's just
I
its own
don't
separate...
think so. Like, I didn't read any of like the graphic novels or anything, so I think it's its own story. But like, there's just something about it. Like, the main loop is you have like your home base, and you have these different crafting stations, and you go out on missions. You basically, you collect materials, and you're completing these missions, and then you go back and upgrade like your weapons and all your stuff. And like, it sounds pretty standard. If this was a non-VR game, it would be, just your standard like first-person shooter type game,
Right,
with some crafting elements. But since it's in VR, just going around like scrounging through these different houses, collecting like, I don't know, pieces of tape, like, shoes and whatever, all these different little junk crafting materials. And you're like physically picking them up, putting them in your backpack, saving them for later. And all the while you're sneaking around, and there's just like zombies all over the place. And like, it's like, I don't know, super intense. So if one...
Is the movement dual stick, or is it like point and you like go there kind of?
So you kind of like hold a button down, and that makes you like walk forward, and you can basically point where you're going, and then you can walk forward, backward, whatever. It's
okay.
You have free movement, but it's that kind of like VR movement where you're just kind of sliding around.
So
yeah,
they don't make you
it takes
sick.
a while.
It takes a little bit to get used to, yeah. But it works for what it is. And then you have like the clicking the button to like rotate around in 3D space. It takes a little bit to get used to, but once you do, like, it's really cool. And like,
Nice.
just that experience of trying to like sneak by these zombies so they don't hear you or see you, because it has like spatial audio. If you make too much noise, like the zombies will come start charging you. And like, I don't know, there's something about it. It's like, I have to limit my play sessions just because it's so intense, the experience.
VR with headphones? Do you use
yeah.
headphones on PlayStation VR?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, for sure.
So, all right. Yeah, that definitely puts you into that world. Kind of. It's tough.
I was just gonna say the sound with VR is impressive, because with the Oculus Quest 2 that I got, right, and which has that game, I looked it up. I think I saw it on there.
Yeah.
When I play like games like Beat Saber and all those whatever, the sound is really good. Like the way it's part of the headset, but the way they do the spatial
they got
sound.
speakers.
Yeah, it's just
built
cool
in.
technology that it's not just like a left ear, right ear kind of, all right, here it is, here's your sound. It actually adds some kind of spatial audio tech there that I was not expecting. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. So I can imagine when you're playing, I haven't played a horror game, but like going through something like that and hearing
it gives you like that feeling of like surviving in a zombie apocalypse, because you have like your shiv on your like left hip, you have your handgun or like one-handed weapon on your right hip, and then you can have like a two-handed like bat or shotgun on your back. So like one zombie coming at you, no problem, you just take out your shiv, stab him in the head. But when you have more than one, like two coming at you, like you just panic, you freeze up, you don't know what to do, because like you don't know which one to take out first, and they're both coming to attack you. And like there was one time where I took out my gun and I just like wasted all my ammo trying to shoot it, and then they were attacking me. I ended up having to like beat one of them with my gun and then stab the other one in the head. And like just that, I don't know, I can't describe that experience,
It sounds pretty
without
intense.
actually being in it. It is really intense, but I definitely want to get back to it.
That is cool though, because like resource management and all that stuff, where you actually have to like reach down and touch certain parts of your body to get stuff out or do stuff. Kind of,
dude. Yeah, and to reload, you have to take it like out of your ammo pouch, pop the clip out, and reload it, cock it. So like, there's a whole process of doing it, and like to heal, you have to open your backpack, take it off your back, grab the healing item and then like wrap it around your wrist. Like it's crazy.
Fun.
But yeah, I'm definitely gonna play more of that. This is like the first full-fledged VR game. I feel like most of the things I've played are like, you know, they feel like VR demos or like proof of concepts or whatever. But this feels like a well-realized, like full VR game, and I'm really enjoying it.
Sweet.
But yeah, other than that, that was all I had.
I started playing a little Cyberpunk, Dave.
Well, sweet,
And
sweet.
yeah, it's great. It's really good. I haven't gotten too far. Made my character.
You're 1X.
And,
You're on a 1X, right?
Yeah, 1X.
Okay,
and
nice.
I'm going through. Oh, I don't know. I have my buddy, and we're just kind of doing missions together, I guess. And I just got some upgrades. I'm not that far. I don't know what that means plot wise, but just walking around, like it is cool to look at.
The whole world.
I
is
see some
cool.
It's
Like-
got that Bethesda jank though you're talking about,
Yeah.
where like I'll be like, damn, this looks really good, and I'm just like purposely walking slow so I can just kind of pretend for a second I'm in Blade Runner or something. You know, I'm just there, and but I'll see somebody go to a bench and sit, but they're like 4 feet away from it and they're just sitting on air, you know? Or like
yeah.
if you get like just a touch too close to an officer, they'll just all start shooting at you. I'm like, I didn't even see you. I didn't know you were a cop, and you know, but it's just whatever. But other than that, it's pretty slick. I'm liking it.
Yeah,
And,
it's a cool
yeah.
world. The combat's cool in it, where the way they kind of, you can get melee focused, you can get gun focused, or you can get swords built into your fucking arms or whatever you want.
Did you have to
pretty
adjust
dope.
the controls? Because I did not like them at all, and I had to like go in and like adjust the sensitivity.
I think it probably did. I don't remember.
Like I feel like I
It's been a while.
should make a YouTube video and say, here is what I would do if you want to have, you know, keep
play
your
like a-
sanity while playing this game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm playing it wrong, but I was just like, this feels horrible. I mean, and then I fixed it. I'm like, this is great. But yeah. But anyways, you know what? I finished the Guardians of the Galaxy game,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it ends great. I had a blast playing that game. It was 16 chapters, I think it is, at total or something like that. 14, something like that, 16. And I was like, okay, that was a lot of fun. And I saw that the Suicide Squad, the new one, is on HBO, and I'm like, okay. You know, I have been meaning to watch this. I'm already like kind of in this James Gunn kind of thing, so I went and watched that movie. That movie was good. It's ridiculous, you know. Like I don't know if I'm supposed to like care about anybody, or I mean, it's got so many characters in it, and you know they're the bad guys, but you're rooting for them, which I like. Which is what I think. You know, like I think DC should be doing this stuff. I've said this before, where like DC has the villains. Nobody really cares about Marvel villains, like, you know, maybe Thanos, but Loki, he's not a bad guy anymore. Like, you know, he was like the villain in Avengers, and then he's like got his own TV show and they're rooting for him. And, you know, so like here you have the Joker movie come out that did really well, and this new Suicide Squad did well. So I think they're onto something if they go down this path, and I would like to see it instead of Wonder Woman and Superman origin stories. Like, yeah, it's just like the DC version of what we've seen Marvel just do. It's kind of like superhero fatigue, but not super villain fatigue. So
They're always like
I don't
that.
know.
They turn them kind of into like misunderstood heroes, kind of like the, you know, you almost feel
Yeah.
bad for them. You kind of want to see them succeed, like even though they do rob banks and, you know, murder people sometimes here and there. Depends which bad guys you are, I guess.
Have you guys seen that movie?
No, not
Not
yet.
the new one.
Okay,
I didn't know
yeah.
that was back on HBO. I will probably check that out.
Definitely worth watching. It's literally like what you would expect from the guy who did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
So much better than Jared Leto Joker.
I tried watching that other version, and I got half an hour into it, and I just turned it off. I'm like, I don't like this. I thought I would. I'm like, I don't like this at all. It's boring. And
I don't
thought
remember
Harley Quinn
shit
was
about that
kind of-
movie. I saw it. I watched the whole thing, and I couldn't tell you a damn thing that happens.
Yeah, I thought she was going to make me want to watch it, and I thought she fell flat. And this one, there's not I think she's, I don't know. she's good. Like I think she is great in the role, but
There's a lot of them in there though.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe the stories that behind these characters is interesting. So I don't know if I want to see origin stories. If I just want to kind of, I like them just dropping their little hints. You
Well,
know,
you got that
like
John Cena
their
show's
motives.
coming out now. Peacemaker.
It's already out.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, he's in. He's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, the casting's great. It's a good movie. So just Guardians of the Galaxy now with DC. That's kind of what it is.
That's cool.
But that's it for me. And I guess I'll ask Gladys, if you've been doing anything, what have you been up to?
Did you know you can donate one or all of your vital organs to the Aperture Science Self-Esteem Fund for Girls?
All right. I regret asking you that, so we'll move on to Act 2 right after this break. And we're back, and we're going to be talking about Portal. But before we do, Eric put a question out on social, and people wrote back.
Yeah, I put a question out on Twitter. Just leave your favorite Portal memories. We'd love to hear them. This is at Nomads of Fantasy. Someone named Brandon Wilson commented on this, said, "Is the cake a lie, though?" Well, I don't know what that means.
I don't know, though. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, to this day, I don't know. Is it real or
Well,
is it imaginary?
in the basement.
At the end, yeah, there's
I
a cake.
don't know. I
There's
know,
a cake.
but like,
It's Gladys. She kept it all for herself. Gladys has an obsession with cake. Well, anyways, we'll get into it. Elevate Games responded and said, "I love Portal. I finished it almost once a year, either on the 4th of July or New Year's Eve. It's a perfectly lengthy game with superb puzzles. Can't wait to check out this episode. Thanks." Well, thank you, Elevate Games. I hope you enjoy it. And then Eric V. Guillemette, I hope I'm saying that right. "Playing online co-op in Portal 2 with my little brother, who was 3,000 miles away, laughing our head off when one of us got caught in a loop or boinked off a wall." Okay. Little Portal
good.
2 memory in there.
Sure.
Yep. And that was it. But if you
Nice.
want to contact us for future episodes, any comments, questions, get at us. We're usually pretty active on Twitter at Nomads of Fantasy, and you can also email us nomadsoffantasy@gmail.com.
yeah. So that was cool. Love the feedback and questions and memories and stuff like that. The game Portal it's huge.
The game Portal.
It's a big deal as far as like this little idea that just came out of nowhere, and it's just so memorable. And it's just, I love these. It's like an indie flick that just like kills it. You know, it gets so much love and praise. You know, like when we watch like Whiplash, like that's a very small movie, but there's just so much in such a small film. And I think this game, when it comes to games, I mean, there's so much you can do with games these days, and it's a first person game, you know, so we've played a lot of games. And in 2007, that was Halo was dropping, like Halo 3, we were looking at, like BioShock started.
Uncharted started. There was a ridiculous amount of games that year.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So I'm just thinking like first person shooters, and this game is just paired with like in the orange box with Half-Life 2 and Team Fortress 2, and this game Portal.
Part of it was like the history of the game is kind of interesting because it's technically a spiritual successor to like a student game that
Yeah, it started out
came
as a
out.
little student project.
at the DigiPen Institute of Technology. It's they train game makers there, but it won a whole bunch of awards back then. The game was Narbacular Drop,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Yeah, it had like a weird name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but like somebody at Valve saw it, was like, oh shit, like this is good, and then they ended up hiring a lot of the people that worked on the original like student project, and then I think it was like a group of like 10 people started out with the original Portal, something crazy like that.
Yeah, yeah, I read that it was such a small team, which is why they reused so many assets from Half-Life. And like, there's a reason why. That's the whole reason why like Portal takes place in the same universe as Half-Life, because they reused like tons of the same assets from Half-Life 2 and everything. Because it was
Which
such
makes
a
the
small
story
team.
even better because it
Yeah.
didn't get like its own dedication of but like dedicated assets. You know, like here's your textures, here's your sound, and all that stuff. And I mean, what's cool is that we're so excited to talk about this game. We didn't even said what it is, like what
I was
kind
gonna
of
say
game
we
it
got to
is.
introduce it
We're
first.
just getting talking about like where it came from, but yeah, it's like Valve made it. Valve, who used to make games, and they only make good games, so it's a shame they only made 2 of these. They should have made a third one, but we're talking about the first one specifically, Valve. I'm sorry, Portal. But it's what? How would you explain this genre? Like, if somebody's like, "Oh, I've heard of it," what?
It's a first person puzzle game.
Yeah.
Like that's the bare bones of it. First person puzzle game. I guess you could. It's not really a shooter. I mean, you get a gun, but you know, there's shooting mechanics, but they help you solve these puzzle rooms. Which, I mean, that's one of the things I love about this game. Like it starts out as a pretty standard puzzle game. I mean, a very good puzzle game.
Well, hold on. All right, we're getting into spoiler territory. I'm just going to put a warning out there because this game came out in 2007. I know it's been out for a while, but listen, if this is a game that you've like missed for some reason, and you're like, all right, you know, I got my game holes, I got to fill them in. This
yes,
game
if you're listening to this and you haven't played
catch to
Portal, go play it. It's only like 2 hours long. Like it's super.
It's not 2 hours
No,
long.
I'll
It's,
Dude,
say
it's
3 or
I
4.
blasted
I'm
through
done
it in
then.
2 hours. No way.
all right,
It's
I'm
2
done
hours.
because it took me a while to get some puzzles figured out. Then it took me 2 nights to play it.
Well-
although I did let my 7-year-old play. He played like the first batch for a while until he kind of got stuck, and I had to help him with the momentum stuff. But
Dude, I cruised through this game on my playthrough, and I played with I don't know if you guys did. I played with the developer commentary on.
I had to unlock it.
I did not.
You have to
Oh.
finish the levels to get it, and I was like, oh man.
Yep. Yeah.
It
So
was good.
it was really good. I'd obviously beaten this game before, so yeah, I played through with the developer commentary, and you get these little floating nodes throughout each level, and you just go up to them and interact with them, and then they'll spit out some
that's
cool
cool.
little
So it's in-game.
factoids and everything. Yeah, it's in game. It's not like a voiceover thing. You have to go up and like interact with it. But it's really funny at the beginning when you turn the developer commentary on, Gabe Newell comes on with like a little message saying like, oh, you know, we hope you enjoy this experience. We're trying something new with this developer commentary, which I guess I don't know the first game that had something like this, like a developer commentary track. I know it's kind of common with movies. You'll have like
Right.
the
a
director
good
commentary
question.
or whatever.
I think it
But
might be an older thing with games, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe like
I've never heard of another game with developer commentary while you're playing through the game. Like, I think that's a really cool concept. And so he's like, I'd love to hear from you on any feedback, you know, that you had through your experience. And he gives out his email address in the developer commentary. So I actually emailed him. So we'll see if we get a response from him. I don't even know if that's his email address anymore, but it's at Valve Corporation or whatever. So it could still be an active email, but I thought that was a really funny thing. But yeah, there's tons of interesting like insights into just how they designed the game. They went through so many iterations and so many like sessions of play testing just to get the mechanics right and tweak everything. And like everything, in my opinion, this is perfectly designed in this game. Like it's incredible.
yeah, which is crazy that there's 2 parts to this game, which is there's the first half of the game, which is learning the mechanic and kind of just doing the puzzle and like getting better at it. And then at the end, getting so good with the portal gun and thinking about all the mechanics that all of a sudden the game changes and you're like, wait, I'm getting killed off after all that, and like you're starting to think about that cake talk.
Well,
you know,
it does like,
but then you see this like well, technically that texture, like technically I can shoot that. So if I shoot this wall and I shoot that, I can get out.
Well, they start out drip feeding it to you. Like you don't like at first it's they present it as just like a normal puzzle game. You're going through the test chambers, going through each level, and then you get to this level where one of the panels is like jammed with the boxes, and you move the boxes out of the way, and you go into this little hidden room.
And there's like
fucking scribblings on the wall. There's
dude.
like jugs of water, empty cans of food and stuff. Like environmental storytelling in this game is insane.
Right, because the main character Shell doesn't talk. They didn't even say her name in the game, but like, yeah, you know, like there's nobody talking except GladOs. She's the only one that's talking, and the droids are the robots, the little turrets.
I love the little robot voices.
They have little funny voices, but like even just like the music when you start, you can tell that something's a little screwy. They have like the lights buzzing and like just a lot of the sounds in the environment can, you know, as you're going and, you know, the first, I think there are 19 tests before you actually, GladOs tries to kill you. Like each one incrementally, like you'll hear her cut off or you'll hear her get scrambled or go, you know, as she's, you get hints that there's something wrong. Yeah.
Like right in the beginning.
Well, at first you think it's like a test team. Like, okay, maybe that's just like their AI is just wonky.
Mm-hmm.
But you see these like frosted windows and you're like, I don't see anybody behind those. So like, I just see empty chairs and light.
Yeah, that was another little thing in the developer commentary. Like they purposely, those frosted windows play like a 2-part role. They're for like the environmental storytelling, like somebody's watching you or whatever. But they also served as like light sources for the rooms in like a really unique way, which was kind of cool. But yeah, there's tons of unique little tidbits. The one I thought was really interesting is like right off the bat in the first room that you're in. So you're in that room for, there's like a timer on the wall. I think it's like 60 seconds until you actually get released from that room. And they made this room specifically like with unique identifiable objects, because a lot of people through their playtesting were struggling with like the concept of the portals. So like they didn't understand where they went, like if you're going to another dimension or, you know, where like spatially you are in the universe when you go through these portals. So like they purposely made it a small room. And then once you go through your first portal, you can see yourself through the portal. You can see your character through that first portal, because there's, you know, a portal on the other side of it too. So that made the player understand like you're not traveling a very far distance, because you see the objects in the room that you were just in.
And that's cool.
Okay. They wean you into it too, because they only give you the blue portal to start for like the first, I don't even know how many levels, until they actually give you control over both portals, which kind of definitely helps lend to the teaching aspect of it. Because you can
the first couple levels, the portal gun is on a pedestal that moves, and it makes them for you, just so you can get your understanding of. You can tell developers made this, but they have a very good appreciation of the art as well, and the two work harmoniously, and that's the beauty of it. It's you can dig how they tease the art side of it with the storying, you know. But then the developer, like just learning what you just told me, like that is just so smart. And that's what needs to also be there. Like, even if the story is good, the gameplay can't get in the way and confuse people.
Every detail down to it. Like, you see your character for like split seconds in this game. Like, you can look at your character model through like a portal, but the game is in first person, so you don't see your character model. But the way they design the character, they have like those springs on her legs or whatever, and that is the explanation of like why she can fall from these huge distances without getting that fall damage. So like
little touch,
just that little, like they didn't have to do that. They didn't need an explanation for that in universe, but
makes it more believable too. But I was reading something where they were talking about the orange jumpsuit that she wears. Like they specifically picked orange to make it feel more like you're a prisoner, but like you're a test subject, to make you actually get that feel of
because
it.
the rooms are so like white and grayish kind of palette. Everything has like this apple look to it. It's just very like white,
And
clean.
I'm sorry, I'm nerding out on this developer commentary stuff, but
No, it's good.
They said they specifically designed the rooms to be like that way, like stark white, not many like environmental elements, just so you can focus on the puzzles. And like it makes total sense too in the universe with the whole test chamber.
But it also
idea and
contrasts
everything.
with the later part when you're escaping.
Exactly.
You're actually going through all the the behind the walls, the industrial side of things. Like you just see beams and hallways, and
It teaches you too, though, like what you can actually hit with a portal, because it'd be insanity if you could shoot a portal on anything. But there's like a specific wall type, color, look, or whatever that you can actually shoot the portals to.
Unique texture for the walls you can't shoot portals in.
But yeah, as you start slow though, like you get you get the both of them, and then you start to deal with like different gameplay elements, where like you start to use momentum or anything like that.
Yeah, I think we could let GladOs explain that a little better than us, probably.
Yeah, sure.
Hello again. To reiterate previous warning. Momentum. Spectacular. You appear to understand how a portal affects forward momentum, or to be more precise, how it does not. Momentum, a function of mass and velocity, is conserved between portals. In layman's terms, speedy thing goes in, speedy thing comes out.
Which is great, because if you have this game mechanic, it opens up the amount of puzzles you can get ready for, because like sometimes you're going to have to use momentum. So what's really one of the harder levels to figure out the first time, I hope you've done this level, if not, like whatever, figure it out, but it's the one where you have to hit these, it's platformer like kind of shit, where you have to hit, you can't just shoot your way up to the other platforms. You have to be projected up so you can see them, so you can shoot them.
To each, that's one, like towards the end. That's one of the tougher ones, yeah.
Yeah, and when you start, if you look to your left, there's a little pit down there that you can shoot on. So you shoot that, and as you're falling through, it'll shoot you out of the other one that you have, and you just keep doing that up and up and up until you get through that. And I'm like, man, when I did that, I just feel like I can do anything in this game. And it's great.
It feels so good when, like Dave said, the way that they drip feed you and teach you about the mechanics, like the way they layer on these mechanics through each test chamber is crazy. And then you get to like, first you do, the fling where you go through, you shoot a portal up in this, on the ceiling part, which they designed those like panels specifically to like jut out so people would know to shoot those. And I guess one of the things they noticed when playtesting was that people like have a tendency to not look up when they're playing. Because like in this game, you always have to look up at the ceiling and, shoot something up there to like fling yourself to a different part of the room.
Everywhere. You're just looking for that white.
Right.
It's white everywhere.
But players just would not look up. So they designed a couple things to draw people's eyes to the ceiling, like broken ladders that you can't actually climb up, but like it draws your eye so that oh shit, I can shoot a portal up there.
The test environment in general makes sense with the whole experimental idea of this gameplay. The game itself. There's like there's a gun. It's going to shoot portals, and you're just going to solve puzzles, right? Yeah. And you're like, all right, pretty straightforward. But I think it is a lot harder. I think to actually implement it. So like the things we're talking about is like definitely guiding it, but when you take a step out and you look at it, it's like, I mean, it's just so fitting for like this genre of whatever they were trying to do, which is experimental for Valve, because they're very good at making games, and for them to experiment and we're part of their little test subject, you go in with this mindset of, and I came from like Half-Life 2, Big, and Counter-Strike. I was playing like their games a lot. And when I went into this, I did not expect a story. And I got so giddy when I saw this little room, this little thing with scribbling on the wall of the cake is a lie. And I'm like, why is she talking about cake? It's so silly. And I feel like this game's starting to try to kill me now because there's like turrets and there's whatever kind of sewage that is in the, that instantly kills you, that liquid. And the AI, she's just like wigging out.
As you
and you
go.
don't see anybody in those windows. It's just,
yeah,
something's up, but it's you don't see this much in games.
Right.
It's
the little
so fitting.
Little things that she says that kind of let you know that something's off, and like the cavalier way that like you can tell you're a test subject because like I forgot to turn off the turrets in this room. If you die, we'll go from there. Like it's just like you don't really matter. You're just a lab rat basically.
I mean, instantly you knew her voice was just interesting. It's like, oh, that's a cool sound. Like, okay, but you've heard many voiceovers before, so you're just like, cool voice. Let's solve some puzzles. And when you're kind of figuring out the mechanics, it's at just the right time when you're wrapping your brain around it is when they start giving you the story and the pacing they do it and how GladOs behaves. Where you're like, hold on a second, something's wrong with her. Like, I don't trust her. And, like she's kind of a
dude. Yeah.
No offense, GladOs, but you're kind of a difficult character in a game. You just, so, but at the time you don't know she's like the antagonist. You don't know this.
Right. Yeah. They had some lines in the commentary too from the voice actor of GladOs. Her name is Ellen McLean. And like they were describing how they needed someone who, could deliver these lines in like this monotone way, but also provide like some emotion behind them as well. Cause they're all like monotone, but the way she delivers them, you can tell that there's like something else behind them. And I guess they were also looking for a good singer as well too, because they knew there was going to be a song at the end of this game.
Those just auto-tuned.
Still a live game, but no, she's like a professionally trained opera singer, which is really interesting. So yeah, they knew they needed like a good voice actor and also a good singer, to play this role. And the way that they created GladOs' voice was really interesting too. They like ran it through all these modulations and everything, just to get it to sound weird and computery. And like she does a couple line reads where they have it without the GladOs effect, and it's just really kind of eerie because like it's so deadpan, like a monotone, but then they kind of jazz it up with the auto-tune effects and everything. But it's really cool. Really good performance too by Ellen McLean.
I think the GladOs character itself has gotten many awards or whatever, like recognition as being one of the best villains in a video game. And I think it's because usually you know who your villain is in the beginning. And you just don't expect there to be a villain in this game. So it's just like an experience like The Matrix, right? Or something like that, where you just like, all right, what is this? Like some sci-fi movie, but then you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Whoa, what's going on here? There's a whole other layer to this I did not expect. And that's how I felt with Portal. I just like, where are we going with this? I didn't think this was going to be happening. This is so cool. And then I could actually go find GladOs and, take her out and fight her and all that stuff. And I thought at the end of it, I was just like, wow, that was so cool. And I couldn't wait to talk to people about it. And I haven't felt like that with a video game in a long time, where I'm just blown away with my expectation going in and coming out and like, what the hell was that?
Yep.
And it's short and sweet and it's perfect.
That's what I was going to say, is that it's just like the gameplay mechanics are simple, where they teach them to you slowly. There's nothing crazy. Everything's clean and focused. The only other game mechanic that we haven't mentioned, besides like the drop and fling maneuver, is you get a companion cube for a little bit. Can't forget that.
Yeah, companion cube.
Are they all companion cubes, or is it just like?
I think it's just the one with the heart.
I think it's just the one
heart,
because the companion cube is specifically like weighted. GladOs mentions that it's weighted and then it has the heart on it.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different than the other cubes, but I feel like we should have GladOs explain this a little bit better.
This weighted companion cube will accompany you through the test chamber. Please take care of it. The symptoms most commonly produced by enrichment center testing are superstition, perceiving inanimate objects as alive, and hallucinations. The enrichment center reminds you that the weighted companion cube will never threaten to stab you and, in fact, cannot speak.
So, not only do you get like the cube as a companion, as a companion, you get the cube as a like this
gameplay. It's like a gameplay mechanic, but at the same time, it's our only friend. So, I mean, we have to treat it with the respect it deserves.
Right. It does it for no reason, and you're like, okay, that's cute. There's a heart on this one, whatever. But the way that she makes you kill it, it's like the first time her voice kind of lowers a little bit. And I don't know if you guys noticed that, but like it was lower.
The weighted companion cube certainly brought you good luck. However, it cannot accompany you for the rest of the test and, unfortunately, must be euthanized. Please escort your companion cube to the Aperture Science Emergency Intelligence Incinerator. Rest assured that an independent panel of ethicists has absolved the Enrichment Center, Aperture Science employees, and all test subjects of any moral responsibility for the companion cube euthanizing process. While it has been a faithful companion, your companion cube cannot accompany you through the rest of the test. If it could talk, and the Enrichment Center takes this opportunity to remind you that it cannot, it would tell you to go on without it because it would rather die in a fire than become a burden to you. Testing cannot continue until your companion cube has been incinerated. Although the euthanizing process is remarkably painful, 8 out of 10 Aperture Science engineers believe that the companion cube is most likely incapable of feeling much pain. The companion cube cannot continue through the testing. State and local statutory regulations prohibit it from simply remaining here, alone and companionless. You must euthanize it. Destroy your companion cube or the testing cannot continue.
And I saw on YouTube, I think it's the guy who does game theory or something like that. He was saying, I think that's who said it. He was saying that the companion cube might have survivors in it. And
What?
there's a line where she talks about it talks about if the cube should never talk, but in the case that they do, ignore what they say.
Oh yeah, I do remember that line.
And her voice is lower because she's being like evil. Like this is when she's showing her evilness in like how she loves to kill people, and she gets like into it.
The Enrichment Center reminds you that the weighted companion cube cannot speak. In the event that the weighted companion cube does speak, the Enrichment Center urges you to disregard its advice.
And that's why it's out of nowhere, just kind of like very dramatic, because she doesn't stop talking about how you have to like incinerate this thing.
Introduces
And it's at the time where you're kind of connected to it, like, oh, like come on, it had a little heart on it.
It saved you a couple times. It helps you get through a couple tasks, but that also introduces. I mean, I guess I'll keep saying the only other game mechanic, but the incinerator pits really are.
Yep.
The one other thing that you come into, which come in handy later, but that's pretty close to the end of like I guess the first act of Portal, but then the second act, once you start running around in the back. I mean, I didn't think it was as interesting as the first act. I think the second act, it's cool because you think you're somewhere where you're not supposed to be. I
think it's the effect really is the best when it's like the first time through playing it.
Yeah.
Like when you know what to expect, obviously, it's like, okay, I know I got to shoot my portal up there and go through the wall over here. But like the first time I played it, like I didn't know what to do. Like I think I just sat in the incinerator and let myself die because I was like, is this the end of the game? I guess this is the end of the game.
Oh, yeah. Really? Oh,
I was like, okay, I was trying to shoot the walls. I didn't see like the ledge up there where you could shoot the portal. And I was like, I guess this is it. And then I died and it restarted me. I'm like, oh shit. Okay. So something else has to happen here. And then I saw it and I'm like, oh, yep, I can go up there. And like, that was the moment for me where it was like, okay, this game is something special because I wasn't expecting that.
I can, Dave. I can see what you're saying. It is definitely inferior to the first
puzzles
act.
feel clunkier and not as tight for sure.
Because you don't know where you're going. Like you don't have an endpoint in mind. You don't know if you're supposed to go up or left or
Yeah, and you don't know where the story's going, so it's just kind of
That's my only gripe with the game. It's like some of those, like, I don't know, those like pneumatic, like tube pipe puzzles I didn't love, where, you know, you had those like huge tubes going back and forth, and if you got in the front of them, they would crush you or whatever. Those were the only like things that annoyed me a little bit, but other than that,
I had my 7-year-old play as long as he could make it until he had to give me the controls.
mm-hmm.
And that was when there's like when you're doing like the crazy stuff with momentum and you're moving around, you got to look and hit at just the right time and then shoot. He had a hard time with that. So I'm like, all right. And I go, buddy, just so you know, just pay attention for like anything weird. And I let him kind of experience the story. So he was really into it. And we started getting into the escape part. And he was like, all right. He's like, hold on a second. Who's this scientist? We have to meet him. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. We never do. But like the guy who's been teasing you with like, just like, yo, the cake is a lie. He's trying to help you with like putting some things up so you can escape.
Mm-hmm.
And he, you know, puts like arrows to kind of help guide you and how to leave and where to go and stuff like that. But you never meet him.
Nope.
I assume that was other people that were escaping. I didn't
Yeah,
know if that was
I assumed
specifically
it
a scientist
wasn't
that was leading
one
that.
person. I assumed, like Dave, yeah, I assumed it was multiple people who had escaped, and they were all just kind of hiding in these different nooks and crannies of the facility and trying to survive.
I did play it with the family too, though. It was kind of cool to see kids trying to figure it out and learn the puzzles and stuff like that. Same thing after a couple levels. I was playing it with the 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, so it gets difficult quick for them to wrap their little tiny brains around. But
Yeah.
Dude, like the double fling maneuver where you have to go through the portal twice, like
yeah,
that takes a little bit to get a hang of, especially at the end when like all those turrets come out. In that one, you know, room I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where, like all the doors
It's
come up and there's like 20 turrets.
turrets.
Yeah. And you have to fling yourself up onto each of the platforms there.
Oh, see, I wasn't even doing that. I was shooting portals behind the guns, and I would just shoot a portal on the wall next to me and walk up behind them and just push them over.
I did do that. Yeah. At first, I tried to just brute force my way through it, but then I'm like, okay, I could just knock all these fucking turrets over and then just take my time to figure out how to get up there.
I think that's the one I did as well. I just one by one took them out.
Yep.
My 7-year-old kept up though. Like there was a couple of spots where I got stuck. I was like, Daddy, just shoot here, right there. All right, now go down there and then shoot. And I'm like,
dude,
oh.
I swear.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes we overthink shit. Sometimes it's good to have a kid by your side because, like, I feel like
I would recommend it. I would
overthink
recommend
stuff.
having people play the game with you, even if they don't want to play the game. Like they can appreciate the story. I think it's like the charm. Like you hear that I'm Still Alive song in the very beginning of the game, but it's on like a little radio.
It's like
playing.
it's like the
upbeat,
Spanish version of it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And, you know, it's just like, all right, this is kind of cute. Like, all right. And then, you know, she's talking about cake and stuff like that. And, all right, this game's kind of got like a cute little humor going on, but then it turns sinister, you know? And then when you finally do get to her, it gets a little creepy because you start going through those offices that you were seeing earlier in the game, and you're seeing the old test rooms that you were going through, but through the windows, and you realize these are all deserted. There's nobody here. And when you work your way to her, the reveal of her area is like kind of creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like designed to be, I think this is true, but where they originally had a big ring.
It was a
and she
couple
was, like,
different
yeah.
iterations of GladOs that they went through.
But the organic humanoid like kind of shape upside down with orbs connected to it is what they settled with, and it's very unsettling when you meet her. Her voice is so iconic, and her design visually is iconic, and the way you take her out with the rockets and knocking off one by one of her, I don't know, what are they? Personality
orbs. I would
Yeah.
say.
orbs.
She's got like an anger
like these
one,
eyeballs.
like an anger one, a curiosity one. One of them just talks about cake.
One of them's like yelling at you and growling at you.
Yeah, the anger one.
Yeah, that's the anger one. Yeah, yeah. There's like 4 of them or something like that. The first one's the morality one.
Dude, I love the part where you walk in there and the morality orb falls off of her, and she's just like, she's telling you like, okay, I don't know what that is, don't touch it. And then if you sit there long enough, eventually she'll like keep spouting out these lines, and she's like, okay, now touch it. Like she's trying to use like reverse psychology on you. It's really funny.
A lot of the dialogue.
There is a lot of that.
So
There's tons of like little dialogue lines like that. It's like there's so much. Like I swear I didn't hear like a looping line of dialogue through that stuff. Like it's pretty impressive how much they put in there.
Even just like the writing for it throughout the whole, like it's hard for, I don't know how many sinister psychotic AIs there were before Portal, but I'm sure there were a couple. But this one, like humor in games is hard enough to do, but this one is like humor and suspense at the same time. But I don't know, the dialogue in this was quite well written, and the effects that they use on her voice to convey the encroaching insanity, super good.
I don't know if you guys know much about the lore, but I got into I got into it, man. I lost myself.
Some
too.
Cave
I know a little
Johnson.
bit about it.
It's pretty sweet, man. Like so when you defeat GladOs, Shell and her get sucked up to the surface, and you think you're safe, but Shell gets dragged back because she's unconscious, and some robots are still alive, and some little ones, I guess, take her back and put her in freeze chamber or something like that. And the scientist that was helping you, his name is Ratman, something like whatever Ratman, and he has his own comic book, which was written by Jeff Keighley.
Huh.
Apparently the dude was
wow.
a writer for a game writer, and he would write these like side stories for like comics or something like that.
That's crazy.
So if you look up, there's a little story between right after the events of Portal 1. It's about him, and it's his story and how he got in, what happened before, and it shows how GladOs was made, and she was instantly evil and always wanted to kill and never could trust her, and they tried, and then when they let her guard down, she wiped everybody out with the gas, and it's sad because like when you learn even more with the story of Portal 2, the original dude who made it, do you guys know what his name was?
Cave Johnson. It's Nolan North, isn't it? No, Nolan North was in Portal 2. I saw that. I don't know who Cave Johnson is.
Cave Johnson is J.K. Simmons.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
Another fantastic role.
He had a secretary though, and so did you guys play Portal 2?
I played
A
some of
while
it.
ago.
I haven't finished it though.
Oh my god, dude, it is just as good as the first one.
I know. After this, I definitely want to play it. Like
it's
finish
fantastic. Oh, all right. I didn't know that. I'm talking. I'm seeing if you guys are gonna hop in. Okay.
Oh.
Well, anyways,
Yeah.
it takes place. It takes place years later, but there's a moment in the game where the big twist is not a twist, but it sends you to like the original area of Aperture when they were first doing the lab, and it's all like dated, and it's like 70s or something or 80s tech. It just has a different look, but there's like wood and they have different mechanics and stuff like that for the gameplay. But GladOs is, oh man, I don't want to ruin this, so I guess I'll just be careful with this. But she changed his form in the second game for a part.
It's a way to put it.
And the AI, the person who's talking to you the whole time, is just like a leftover speaker from the training course, and it's J.K. Simmons, the creator, who died because of like just being around the experience, the lab, and some stuff got to him. But what he did was he had the secretary. Oh man, I'm trying to blank on her name, but he took her, and he basically, the company made her transfer her brain into GladOs, and I think she died during the process.
Something like that, because he was trying to like
she's vengeful, and that's why she's the way she is
with cheating death or something. That's why Cave was trying to. This whole system came about was because they were trying to get their consciousness out, something along those lines.
Yeah, he was dying,
ages,
and he was funding AI technology, and GladOs ultimately became, well, what he wanted to be, but he died before they had the technology finished. But when they did, his secretary, they just took her brain instead. So she died in the process. But anyways, the theory is she's vengeful because part of her humanity is in GladOs now. And she's very mad at what happened to her. And that's why she just wants to kill everybody.
Yeah, finish that Portal 2, Eric.
I know, I gotta finish it. I definitely, after replaying the first one, I want to roll right into it.
Oh, now's the time to do it because you're in the mood.
Dude, yeah, I'm in the mood for it, yep. There was another little detail. When you first, I don't know if you guys noticed this, when you first walk into the room where GladOs is, her like chamber or whatever, there's like a desk to the left, and there's a red phone on that desk. Apparently there's like lore behind this red phone. It was, while GladOs, the AI, was being developed, it was someone's job to sit by that red phone, and like if GladOs ever like went evil or went rogue, it was their job to pick up that phone and like tell someone to like, okay, shut it down, like destroy this thing. But obviously that never happened, so didn't work out for them.
It's crazy how they build lore. Like, I don't know if, you know, they were thinking about that when they put the desk there, like when they're developing the game, but just like the polish.
I think they just added. I think they just added to it. I think they just had a really good back and forth between development and design.
Yeah,
dude, and
just like it being open to like storytelling.
And yeah, another part of environmental storytelling. There's a like a corridor you can go down, and it's like a dead end, but there's a room you can look into, and there's a projector with like a slideshow going.
Yes, I saw this. And
it's all of like, so like the whole concept is like Aperture and Black Mesa, the company and the whatever corporation, Half-Life, as they're like competing like technology corporations. So like this whole slideshow is like all about like, oh, Aperture is better than Black Mesa. It's like propaganda type shit.
They're direct competitors. Yeah,
it's really cool.
It's in the world. This is the tie-in to the Half-Life world where the events of Half-Life 1 like kind of open up like, hey, aliens, here's Earth. So that kind of opened up like this, you know, door to a war that happened with humans and aliens. And before Half-Life 2 happens, the events of Portal happen, technically. And this is them kind of going against, the Black Mesa and like, hey, we have technology as well. The government should use us instead to fight these aliens or something like that. But that is a cool tie-in. I don't know if that's a big part of the story in 2. I think Portal 2 just focuses on its own lore. You just know that it's part of it. I could be wrong. But I love the first Portal because the story is so minimal. It just doesn't get in the way. And it's just well balanced, you know?
Like the physics feel right. That's one thing I like about the Half-Life games in general, is because the physics always feel, you know, believable or real. I don't know how real Portal feels, but I don't know. It just feels right. The way like movement and jumping and explosions and death feels, I guess. But that's one thing. I don't know. I wish the Half-Life engine was used for more stuff, because it seems kind of cool. Like, you know, the interaction with objects in the world, the physics on the other objects in the world. If something blows up, you know, boxes are scattering, that kind of stuff. So not just the canned animations and Call of Duty from climbing up a ledge or something like that, but more physics-based animation.
Some of the technical stuff in the commentary was crazy to me, like how they actually created the portals. Like, so they basically have to create like a mini environment inside the portal, like replicate everything, and like to save on resources, only what you see in the field of vision through the portal is what's rendered. So like there's lots of technological stuff. And you know, like in that hallway, you can shoot one on one side and shoot one on another side, and you can like see through it.
Yes.
Quote unquote, infinitely or recursively. Apparently there's like a maximum of like 9 portals deep, so it's not actually infinite. And like on the last iteration, they like do like a copy of the previous one, so it looks like it's going forever. So like there's some really cool tricks that they did to like make it look more impressive than it actually is. And like, I don't know, the way that they have to like reload the environment when you go through a portal, like some of the stuff for the time is just insane.
I'm glad you brought that up, because for 2007, when I was playing, I was like, all right, it's not 4K, but it's 1080 on my Xbox. And I was like, this looks nice. And the artwork, because it's so simple and limited, that I think it holds up. I mean, it's
Definitely
not,
holds up, dude.
it's not like it looks like it came out like a couple years ago, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't look bad for a game from 2007. It's not like 2007, ew. Like, no, this is so, you know, maybe the later part, because it's all dark. It's like mostly dark, and you're just looking for the white kind of clean palettes. But like that's just like the shift of the tone of the game in general. But like the guns look good, the turrets look good, you know, GladOs looks cool still as a villain.
They're like Apple
Everything
turrets.
just like looks good.
Like if
Yeah.
Apple made a turret gun.
That's what I was saying earlier. Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah,
like very Apple-y.
They made them have little voices too, because they didn't want the turrets to be too like, quote unquote, like, I don't know, scary. Like they didn't want the focus of this game to be like the combat, so they made them have these little cute voices, so they seem more fun and less.
They're kind of adorable.
But when you do get hit, you're like, ah, ha, ha.
Yeah.
The screen like turns red and like
Yep.
blood splatters all over the wall, and you're like, and then you just fall to the ground, and you're like, whoa, little shit,
Right.
got me. Yeah, I like how you use the portal to platform, you know, to do the puzzle stuff, but you also use it as like this weird weapon, you know, where like, you just know, all right, I'm not gonna just do it like I'm not gonna shoot like a portal 6 feet on this wall. I'm going as high as I can. This little shit's going down, and then I'll go and I'll shoot another portal underneath the turret, and I'll just see the little shit fly out, and I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
But then sometimes like a bullet will fly out because they spray like crazy when they land. And you're like, I got hit.
Just shoot one above their head, and then just shoot one up next to me and drop a box through it and just clonk it on the head, knock it over.
Yeah, and I wonder sometimes with the puzzles how much is me and how much is like they knew I would do this, you know, where I'll.
Dude, they went through so much play testing just to figure out like every iteration, because you know how there's like those fields before you go to the next test chamber that like incinerate anything that goes through it, so you can't like bring boxes or anything else to like the next test chamber, so that
I'm always trying to do it. Yeah,
it eliminates any, you know, way for you to solve puzzles that way. They've thought about everything. Like
she even tells you that narratively too, so it's like a rule that's just like you can keep moving and playing, and she'll just say, you know,
yeah, they
says.
worked the rules of the game design into the actual like lore and like story of these test chambers, which, you know, it just makes it all work together so well.
Why don't other games do this today? It's very rare where we'll see like good stories, we'll see good, you know, gameplay, like I don't know, Last of Us 2 or Halo Infinite. Like these games are great, you know, they play well, they have cool stories or whatever. But Portal did something where it's just like it innovated on like what you can do with the genre. And I'm trying to think who else has really innovated on the genre itself. You know, I guess maybe Breath of the Wild was a big one, where they kind of maybe Skyrim and Breath of the Wild. It's like, here's what you could do, but you knew the path of Skyrim because it was like they just iterate each time. It's like Rockstar.
Those ones
are
just a little bigger than the next one.
Portal came out swinging. It's like, check out this awesome story
and
this awesome
gameplay. Like, it's a video game, but like they make it so everything makes sense in that universe. There's no HUD, right? There's no like heads-up display or anything.
Love a game with no HUD.
So that makes it even better. Like it just immerses you into the experience.
You're right. There isn't. It's just the portal, orange and blue, like
the crosshairs.
On your crosshair kind of thing.
You got the reticle, yeah.
And they just become more opaque if you're over the surface that you can shoot or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. You knew that there was a designer sitting there like, no, it has to be like this, and the developer's like, all right, and you know they're just working together to get like that lack of friction. There's no friction. It's just
I think this
not
is
clunky. It just everything was just perfect.
Works.
No, Portal is like an example of like I would say it's like perfect game design. Like absolutely, this is a shining example of how to design a game that's fun, that tells a good story without too much dialogue. Like the environmental storytelling. I love environmental storytelling, and this game nails it. And like, just as a standalone puzzle game itself, even without all the storytelling around it, it's still incredible and innovative and like something you've never seen before.
And the fact that it's just short is great.
Yep, I
And
love a
you
short
know,
game.
The villain, the villain is instantly like likable. You don't even know it's the villain. It's just this female sounding robot, and it's great.
Yeah, it doesn't overstay its welcome. You get in and you get out, and you know it's just a tight, super tight experience.
I would say it's one of those games where if you're going to be on the couch sick, but not too sick, but you can like watch a show or try a game out, this is a game I think you might enjoy.
Just be careful when you go through a portal upside down and then the world spins around 180
Right.
degrees. Once you
Oh
go
no!
through.
It's very disorienting.
It does get, when you're going through a wall and coming out of ceiling, it gets a little tricky.
Just keep an eye on GladOs because she can be mischievous. All right, well, I don't know. I think that's probably all we can talk about with Portal. I mean, there is another game, but I don't want to get too far into that, Laura. Maybe we'll talk about Portal 2.
I'm gonna play
sometime.
Portal 2.
Yeah, please do. It's really good. I loved it, and I'm gonna play the co-op with my son if it does local co-op. I hope it does. I figure something out, but yeah. Other than that, Valve. I wish they would make games. I don't know why they just can't make Left 4 Dead
Make some
and
more.
Half-Life and what's that?
Just make some more. I don't really care what you do. Like Half-Life Alyx sounds super cool, but that's just tucked away on VR, and I just can't get my dirty little fingers on it. So
Hopefully someday we'll see the ever elusive Half-Life 3 or Portal 3, or that's the whole joke. Valve can never make it to 3. Left 4 Dead 3.
Yep, Half-Life 3, Episode 3, all that stuff.
Yep. Hopefully we'll get another first-party Valve game soon. I mean, like you said, Dave, Alyx looks awesome, but stuck on a VR platform that I don't own, and it's like $1,000 entry fee.
yeah, it's rough. I'm not great with the not getting bitter over things getting tucked away. Like I want to play with toys. I want to play with these cool new shiny games, but what can you do?
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. That game should be on all VR headsets.
Should, but yeah.
All right. Well, I say let's go into Act 3, where Eric will be hosting a new game.
I am hosting a new game.
New games.
All right.
Yay.
All right. Yeah. Let's check it out. We have returned, and it is game time. And Eric has a new game, and I don't know what it is. So yeah, what is it called?
This game is called Which AI Am I?
Interesting. Okay.
So we're going with the a little off the Portal theme here. So this is gonna be I have 10 movies. 10 sounds like a lot, but I think this will go quick. And I'm going to name so there in each of these movies there's a sentient machine, program, AI, whatever in each of these movies.
Okay.
And I'm going to name the actor who plays the AI.
Interesting. Okay.
And you have to give me the movie. But if you don't get it, if neither of you can guess just based on that actor, I'll start going into other actors in the movie. So
interesting.
It won't be stalled. So yeah, just buzz in with your name if you think you know it, and that's it.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right, are we ready?
Sure.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, here we go. All right, first movie. The AI is played by Alan Tudyk.
Brandon.
Yes, Brandon.
Rogue One.
Incorrect, but good guess.
Oh, I don't know who Alan Tudyk is.
Did I get the right actor right when I did that?
Yeah, you're thinking of K2SO, right?
Yeah.
That is a good guess.
A little.
That is a good guess.
You said Rogue One. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
he's
Well, makes me think it's a Star Wars movie. I'm gonna guess Solo.
incorrect.
Okay.
I don't think it's Star Wars at all. He must have done a VO to something else.
Let's see. The second actor in this movie is Will Smith.
Alan Tudyk is the AI, right?
Yes.
Dave.
Yes, Dave.
Is this iRobot?
This is iRobot.
Oh, I was
Ding,
thinking
ding, ding.
Robot.
Good job.
Will Smith gave it away. I'm trying to think of anything that he would have talked to a robot in, and yeah.
Yep, there you go.
Bingo.
Good job. Good job, Dave. 1 point for Dave.
One more than I thought I was going to get. I'm already ahead.
Yeah. I don't even think I said my name. I just said the movie or something like that.
I wasn't even thinking of Rogue One, but that is Alan Tudyk definitely plays K2SO.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Movie number 2. The AI is played by Scarlett Johansson.
Dave,
Brandon.
Oh, Dave.
this is her.
This is her.
Nice.
Good job.
Ooh.
I thought this might have tripped you up because she did. She was also in Ghost in the Shell, that live action adaptation.
Oh, okay.
I never saw it.
That was a good
I
one.
haven't seen her, but it looks like an interesting movie.
That is an interesting one for sure. I remember watching that in the theater. All right, so 2-0 Dave. Close on that one. All right, this next one. The AI is played by Robert Patrick.
Robert Patrick.
You might not know the actor.
All right.
but-
I'll just go Brandon.
Yes, Brandon.
2001 Space Odyssey.
No, incorrect.
I don't even know. I don't have a guess for you. I don't know who Robert Patrick is. I don't know where he would be. I'm going to guess Lord of the Rings.
No. What AI is in Lord of the Rings?
That's great.
Gandalf.
Gandalf. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Let's go. Second actor. Edward Furlong. I'm going with minor actors first.
Dave.
Yes, Dave.
Is this Terminator 2?
It is Terminator 2.
Okay.
What? How? What? How?
Robert Patrick plays the T-1000. He's the actor who plays the T-1000.
Oh.
I was gonna say you might not know the name, but
The T.
you know the face.
So the liquid melty one.
Yes, liquid
Okay.
melty guy.
Ah.
Nice
okay.
work, David. Okay.
Oh man! All right, 3-0. David. Here we go. Movie number 4. The AI is played by Alicia Vikander.
Dave.
Dave.
Shit. What the hell is it called, though? Ex Machina.
Yes, it is Ex Machina.
What the heck is going on over there?
I thought I was going to be horrible at this game, but apparently I am.
Dave knows his AI.
I don't know. She was super hot in that movie, so sorry. Name stuck. But
There you go.
that was a fucking great movie. That would be a good one for the pod.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely got to talk about
That was
that
a good one. Yep. All right. Is that 4-0? 4-0. All right, Brandon, this is your run. Here we go. This next one, if we don't get it, I will reveal whatever. We'll just see. We'll just see what happens. The AI in this movie was played by Douglas Rain. Brandon, got any guesses?
What? 2001 Space Odyssey.
Ding, ding, ding.
All right.
That's the one I was gonna guess too. I
Oh,
wanted you to make. I wanted you to
sympathy
at least get
point.
that one just in case.
Bless
it
your heart, David.
I was gonna say I
Bless you.
don't think either any of us would know any actors from that movie, but
I don't even remember the last time I've seen that. I just remember it being trippy as shit. So
that movie is wild. And at the time, I think I watched it in college, and I just thought it was super overrated. But maybe I'll watch it again someday.
it's the one that syncs up with the Pink Floyd album, I believe.
No, that's Wizard of Oz.
Oh, this one too. Echoes. I believe, is the
really?
album. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Some
All right.
weird
I'll have to
shit
YouTube
happens.
that. All right. All right. I didn't
Staying
know that.
alive. All right, so that's what,
All right.
4-1.
So stay alive, baby.
Dave's got 4. Brandon has 1. This next movie, the AI is played by Kevin Spacey.
Brandon,
I
was waiting for this. Moon.
Moon.
See, I'm thinking when you say AI, I'm thinking like they don't have a body. And so Dave's been like getting all these like because
I said at the beginning, I said sentient machine or program or AI.
I know. I'm just thinking like it's a voice of like Hal. So that's why I got that one so quick. It's like I've been waiting for that to show up.
It was Moon, you said?
That was Moon. That one. The Sam Rockwell.
Moon is a great
You should watch that
movie.
one, Dave. It's really good.
The production, how they made it, it's a great, small, compact space movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I love some Sam Rockwell. I think he's a great actor.
Yep.
All right.
Awesome. All right. 2-4. It's getting interesting. The sixth movie here. The AI is played by James Spader.
Dave.
Oh.
No, you had your burr. I'll give
No,
it.
I know, but I don't know it. I don't know what it is.
This is Avengers 2, Age of Ultron.
Yes,
That's
that is
right.
correct. Yes, it is.
Ooh, he was Ultron. Okay, I knew I could, like, yeah, he was in something recently. Nice,
He's got a
dude.
very, very distinct voice coming out of Ultron, too. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
He does a good job there.
Good poll. All right. I think this next one is just going to be a race to whoever says it first.
Portal.
The Portal.
Star Wars.
All right, so it's 5-2 Dave. The next movie, the AI, or one of them, is played by Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving.
Dave.
Brandon?
Dave.
That's a Matrix.
Of course it's the Matrix.
Yeah, I guess they're all AI. I should have seen that coming. I was like, what? He was in the Matrix, Lord of the Rings. Fucking idiot. Oh my god. Duh. Doesn't get any more AI than that.
I was gonna say there's multiple ones, but the main AI.
I'm just waiting for you to
Lord
say.
Elrond.
I thought you were gonna be cute and be like Haley Joel Osment, and I'm like AI.
Oh, see, I see what you did there.
I've never seen that one. I was picking movies I know we've all seen. So
Oh, okay. All right. Well, for funsies, let's
yeah, we'll play the rest of these.
Let's just play the rest of them out. Yeah.
Congratulations, Dave.
Congrats, Dave.
There's two more.
You
so
can have some cake.
last one, or second to last one. The AI is played by Sean Young.
Oh, Brandon. Blade Runner.
Yes, sir. That is Blade
Nice.
Runner.
That, yeah, I haven't seen those in a while. That'd be a good one to catch up on.
It's Ridley Scott, man. They age well.
Yeah, man.
You could watch Gladiator, Alien, Blade Runner. His movies still look good.
All right, here we go. Last one. In this movie, the AI is played by Ian Holm.
I don't know any in home.
No.
Nothing, Bren.
No.
All right, I'll move on to a different actor. I'm saving the big name for last, so we'll go with John Hurt.
Who is this John Hurt you speak of?
Okay, we'll just rip the Band-Aid off. Sigourney Weaver.
Brandon?
I
just said it so Dave didn't. Well, is it Alien? Is he the one that
Yeah.
turns out to be the
It's Alien.
the
Gotta
robot?
be.
Yeah, it's Ash. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. That's a cool,
Yep.
that was a good. What was the name of that game, Eric?
Which AI am I?
That was good. Yeah, I don't know if we could play that one
I like
again,
it.
but that was.
It was a
clever.
special themed for this episode.
Yeah, I love it. Appreciate it. That was super cool. All right. Well, good job, Dave. You beat me, but that was a lot of fun. And let's. I don't know, Eric. Do you want to plug our social one more time? And then I think Gladys promised that she would perform her song
So
as
excited.
a closer for this episode.
Oh,
Excellent.
Well, before that, you can reach us on Twitter and Instagram at Nomads of Fantasy. You can email us at nomadsoffantasy@gmail.com. I don't know, we're on other places too. We're on Facebook, TikTok, a bunch of YouTube. Like, you could find us pretty much anywhere. Just Google the Nomads of Fantasy, and you're sure to
The
find us.
socials.
Yep. Other than that, we're out of here, and we'll let GladOs serenade us with one of the best video game songs.
This is a perfect ending to a
Yes.
game, too. No games do this. But...
Take it away, GladOs.
This was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Aperture science. We do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead. But there's no sense crying over every mistake. You just keep on trying till you run out of cake. And the science gets done and you make a neat gun for the people who are still alive. I'm not even angry. I'm being so sincere right now. Even though you broke my heart and killed me and tore me to pieces and threw every piece into a fire. As they burned, it hurt because I was so happy for you. Now these points of data make a beautiful line, and we're out of data, we're releasing on time. So I'm glad I got burned. Think of all the things we learned for the people who are still alive. Go ahead and leave me. I think I prefer to stay inside. Maybe you'll find someone else to help you. Maybe Black Mesa. That was a joke, haha, that chance. Anyway, this cake is great. It's so delicious and moist. Look at me still talking when there's science to do. When I look up there, it makes me glad I'm not you. I've experiments to run. There is research to be done on the people who are still alive. And believe me, I am still alive. I'm doing science and I'm still alive. I feel fantastic and I'm still alive. While you're dying, I'll be still alive. And when you're dead, I will be still alive. Still alive. Still alive.
Por favor,
Por donde fallan. Muchas gracias. Te falla gracias.
I'm back.